I mean, they have talked about movies like I just talked earlier about the movie, The Green Book, and how it's portrayed and it's depicted, and they were highly upset. The family did not want that movie to be portrayed that way. I mean, even a woman who was actually the movie The Help is based off of, she was not happy the way they've been portrayed. It's just a white savior thing that's been talked about. This is not in anything different, and they can say what I want about the movie and how great it is. I can tell you I don't like Hugh Jackman, and it's not Hugh Jackman's fault. So, and it's not even the director's fault. This is his first movie. You know, he wants to. He's has deemed the job of taking, this character and creating, a new persona. I mean, there's the characters in the old um, circus movies where they, it's the fat man, the strong man, and the whatever, the bearded woman and all that kind of stuff. They're tolerable. They're visually, you can sit through a movie and watch it. But the people who have mental disabilities and mental deformities, you can't show that. You can't show that in a big spectacular movie and not have flack. Now, they did an American Horror Story. An American Horror Story, very good show. I don't like their end game when they just give up halfway through. But I still like the show. Don't get me wrong, they do a good job. And they had a season what about freak shows, and they actually used people's deformities, and they actually showed an honest portrayal. I felt an honest portrayal of how they depiction of them and what they went through in this era. And they try not to sensationalize or whitewash or sugarcoat it. They made it as honest a portrayal they could, and they did a good job on that one. But I I still like The Greatest Showman. I like the musical. I like the music. The music good. I jamming to the soundtrack. But I am not naive to not realize that this version of P.T. Barnum is not real. Maybe the audience who saw him at the time and was actually mesmerized at the time, maybe they were liked his showmanship. But this right here is like the Disney version, like on the Disney version of Snow White um, or Hansel and Gretel, or a snowy version of all these kind of characters in these movies. These are like the sugar coated versions. So they're allowed to in these movies to show I don't know, it's a dignified. I don't know what you would say it, but there's like in these versions, the kids can watch them, and if they want to, they can go to history books and they can look up the history of it. And that's the good thing about history. I mean, these movies do not portray honest history, but you should read if you want to know the true history and make your own, decision of if you can still watch it. Because I can still watch this movie. Don't get me wrong. I still like this movie. It's a good movie, but I'm not so naive to believe that this is the honest portrayal, and I'm okay with that. There's certain other movies that are just no, we're not doing that. And this character is so old and so far back that you can you can rewrite history, and I don't think they're really rewriting history. I mean, Hugh Jackman, uh, it's better looking than yours gonna do that. I ain't gonna say nothing. That dude's ugly. That's a rough looking dude, and he's not supposed to be attractive, but um, he did what he was supposed to do. He he helped he get jobs for some people and exploited others. You can say in two breaths and say and honestly say that in both of them he abused and he showcased people that would never there you would never see. And you can say it on both of them. It's a shame that other movies were not honest, but I don't think people can handle the honesty. I don't think people lose their mind. There's no way. And there's probably more stuff that was around that time because I think vaudeville was around this time too, and a lot of things in vaudeville would not fly today. Some of the racial things, even though I'm sure that's not what they meant to do when they did it, but anybody trying to hear that right now. And this movie right here is a perfect example of that, where it's like, I'm not going to show you the real P.T. Barnum because you're not going to be able to handle it. I don't know if the Charlton Heston version. I don't know who even plays in that movie. Cause I saw it one day on television. I didn't know what I was watching. And Cecil B. DeMille. He's famous for making these epic movies and basically killing his cast in the movie, or whether he didn't do it or not. He's good at doing these big extravaganza movies, and I doubt very much that he did the same thing. There's no way that he was going to show an honest portrait. He probably took out the oddities and all the kind of things in those movies too, and just focus on more of the acrobats and focus on whatever Charlton Heston's character was in the movie. So he didn't do it either. But there have been movies like Freaks. I'm gonna look it up. I saw that when I was going to CVCC, taking like one class, and you can go to the library, and I rented Freaks from the library. Let's see. Freaks is a good movie, and that's the closest portrayal. Freaks in 1932 film. A convincing trapeze artist named Cleopatra seduces a carnival sideshow dwarf named Hans after learning of his, the money and whatever. Basically, she takes advantage of his generosity and whatever, and he falls for her. And basically, he's gonna poison it. I guess take the insurance money. I don't know what she's gonna do, but her and basically the strong man devise a plan, and they basically are going to kill kill him and take all his money. Needless to say, he figures out before this all happens, and they basically turn her into a chicken woman. The movie's good. The movie still holds up. Very creepy. They turn into a chicken, super gross. There's a scene in a movie where a man who's just a head, roughly is a head, is lighting a cigarette. First of all, I don't know how physically he's alive. I don't know how is he even functioning. Uh, at one point, when they devised, he's running. The actress Cleopatra is running from intimate doom from the people. Find out what she's doing. There's a scene where the man with just a head is rolling with a knife in his mouth. What's he gonna do with that? He has no hands, but that's an honest depiction of it, and that's the only one. And I think it's supposed to be analysis themes. Film critics inherited freak shows within its context of the Great Depression. Yeah, blah blah. I think everyone in this movie is real. Freaks. Let's see, cast. In this movie, I'm not pronouncing any of these people's names. These all got these German jibber jabber names. I'm not gonna think about it. They're all dead. So I think one of them was in the Wizard of Oz. Um, I wish I had more to pick, and I was gonna get into more detail of this movie, but there's nothing really to tell in Great Showman because it's a straight up movie where he's basically um, has his daughters, and he wants to make this big extravaganza, and you kind of like exclude his family. He doesn't do it intentionally, but I think his wife gets fed up. I think his wife leaves him at one point, and I don't think he's infatuated with the singer, but he almost loses his family in the process. Don't know what happened to him in real life, the actual P.T. Barnum, but I'm sure he died of some ridiculous disease. It's curable now. but at that time, he was a showman and he did do a lot, showcasing a lot of people. So he did what he did. I mean, he's dead now. I mean, and he's not the only one that was exploitative. It's just that you don't really see many movies about that person anymore. But hopefully, if you're listening to this podcast, you should just go online and look up P.T. Barnum, the actual person. There's a lot of history on him, and also look up the movie Freaks, 1932 movie. Go on Amazon Prime or something like that, or rent it from the library if it's available. Also rent the original Greatest Showman and kind of like mirror the two movies together and see if there are actually any differences in the movie. I guarantee you neither one is not going to be a great depiction of the actual P.T. Barnum, but it'll be interesting to see what they do in an original movie, because I don't think original movie is a musical. It's just a straight up movie. But I guarantee you both movies are very good. There's no doubt that they are both, phenomenal movies or whatnot. So I hope you enjoyed this podcast right here, and hopefully next time I'm going to discuss. I was going to discuss wrestling, but I need to get more, information on it because I want to discuss the history of wrestling itself. Back as as far as the circus up into now, dealing with different local promotions. Talking about getting the details. I think Abraham Lincoln was a wrestler. I think he was a professional wrestler as well. Well, not like WWE style wrestling, but he was like a grappler or something like that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully see you soon. Thank you.